Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lorelei Shamayo. This is our MeWe Metaphysics and Wellness Fairs for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest and many online, and we interview our practitioners and vendors so you get to know who we are before you meet us at events. I'm excited to be here today with Terri Suzuki. Terri, it's lovely to be with you.
Oh, thanks for inviting me on.
You're so welcome. Well, so tell us, what is it that you do at our events? I understand that you do so many different things.
I do a lot of different things, but at the events, what I do is that I'm a psychic and a medium. And so, in general, what I do is read people. So, if people come to my booth, they may want me to read for about 20 minutes. That's what I'm doing, 20 minutes. But I have to tell you, so hard to stay at 20 minutes. It almost always creeps up to 30. And if it's really good, I may keep going. Um, but so people can ask me psychic questions. So psychic questions may include like um, communications from your angels or your spirit guides. It could be questions about past lives or questions like, how would it be if I took this job? You know, maybe there's a job they want and they're afraid to change. So any kind of psychic question, anything that's about the energy of now, or that I can read their energy right now. And the other thing that people can ask me is mediumship questions, where they want a message from maybe a passed on loved one or a passed on pet. Um, and I can usually get a message from them. Now, I can't guarantee a message from them because once in a great while they're very shy or they're not a big talker. But in
Mhm.
general, I can get a message from them.
Mm.
Um, so that's what I do at the WeMe fairs.
Mhm.
I often try to read the room for an hour. So I'll go into one of your conference rooms and people can just ask me questions. If you're brave enough to go up to the mic and ask the question, I will read on it. The only kinds of questions I don't read on is I don't read on political questions.
Mm.
So,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I don't love health questions, but it just depends on what happens. What I have noticed at the MeWe fairs is that um, where I normally read, it seems like there's a little bit more edges to it, like keeping me in a slight little box. But when I'm at the MeWe fairs and I'm in person with people, the energy is just off the chart. I really don't know what to say is going to happen. Uh, I have read at the MeWe fairs, and then suddenly an angel shows up and they do a healing for the person. Um, so I guess I should also back up a little bit. All people who do spiritual work have different senses. So in this world, we have five senses. In the woo-woo world, we have eight senses. And so my particular strong senses are clairvoyance. So I see. They show me either pictures or a little movie or whatever. I just see it. And then the other thing is I'm claircognizant, so I know it.
Mhm.
So I've finally kind of realized that claircognizant is really kind of like telepathy. They're just sending it straight to my brain and not bothering to use the mouth or to my
Mhm.
ears.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when I'm reading in people, if I say, I hear them say, I don't hear them say. It's just the
Right.
easiest way for me to tell you that they've now given me a knowing
Mhm.
about something.
Yeah.
So those are my senses, and those are the senses that I tend to use at the MeWe fair.
Mhm.
Um,
Are there other things that you do
so
when
it's
you're doing private session, not at the fair? Are there some things
I
that you
do
do
something
differently?
a tiny bit different. So
Mhm.
my business is called Kigaru Spiritual Journeys. So I can do straightforward readings just like I do at the fair, or if someone, especially if they're a little more spiritually advanced, they can go on a spiritual journey with me.
Mhm.
And where that time and space don't mean anything at all, we might go anywhere in the universe, and they may take us on a journey to give even more information. And in fact, last time, go ahead, ask your question.
Well, I just say, is this like a shamanic journey, or like what type of journey is this?
I'm so new to this. I don't think I can even give it a name yet. It's not, I'm not
Well,
sure that it's
is it something that
shamanic.
just kind of evolved through you? Like it's shown up what
It's
it is
some,
through you. It's not a
it's
particular method,
something that
or
just showed up.
Mhm.
It just showed up for me,
Yeah, yeah.
where that I can take someone else on a journey. At first, it was just a friend that's a psychic medium as well, that I met in classes. And it's almost like her and I are twins in some way.
Mhm,
And she can see what I see. So we
mhm,
can journey together. Um, Recently, I was able to take a group of women on a journey. So
mhm,
I never knew I could do that. Um, so at the last fair, actually, the very last reading of the night, the last time I was at Linwood, a lady came and sat down with me and she said, I don't want a regular reading. I don't want to hear about anything. She says, I'm having a fight with my parents and I don't want to hear about it. And, she didn't want to have any angels tell her to fix it or anything. She's like, I see that your name is Kigaru Spiritual Journeys. I want to go on a spiritual journey. And we did. It was amazing. They took us out into the universe on this sailing ship, and they often take me first to what I call the celestial heart of the galaxy. And at this in this galaxy, there is a star bed. There's this little couch or bed, and they often first put me on that. And if I'm with somebody, put them on that too. And then they do work on us. They might put a little more, I don't know, sparkly stuff in us that maybe makes us better psychics, or they light the bed up and shoot energy into us. And but they do something. Whatever we need, they do something. And then they then often will be standing by the bed, and there's an operator that I actually kind of know. I think it's her um, oversoul there, because I see her there often. But sometimes we'll be standing there, and behind me I'll hear, and I'll turn around, and there is a council full of people. In her case, there were three ancestors sitting in a semicircle on what looked like a ribbon
mhm,
that was of her Slavic background woven, that they were sitting there. And they invited us to sit down, and each of the beings gave her a message about her ancestors. And that's what she wanted. She wanted to talk to her ancestors. So they were, one was probably old, they were pretty old ancestors, um, and gave her a gift of these jewels that would be help her in her spiritual practice. And he explained what each one does, because that's one thing I have learned when you're out there. If they give you a present, ask them what it does, because otherwise you got this present and you don't know how to use it, and you don't know when to whip it out. And and then the next woman talked to her and talked about how that she had the same gifts that this lady had, but it was a long time ago and it was not accepted. But she knew who she was. She gave her a ring with the same jewels as the other um, one. And then the last one that spoke to her was this hunched over. I mean, just like he was sitting there. It's like he meditated till he was just a little lump. And he was the funniest, though. They're funny out there. I know everyone expects us all to be really spiritual, but sometimes it's funny, really funny. And I'm like, uh, you know, would you mind introducing yourself? Who are you? And he said, and he's really old. I'm sure he had some, and he's like, I'm tired of that old name. I want to be called Joe now. And I'm like, okay, Joe, it's on. And so he had a message for her too that was really lively, and told her not to meditate. And he gave her actually a whole list of how to meditate for her, but not to do it too much. Don't become a lump like I am. He says, I will do that part for you, and because I'm already lumpy. So it was amazing. And it was so at the end, I did get a little feedback that it's exactly what she wanted. She didn't want to hear, you got to make up with your parents or things like that, which I don't hear very often, to be honest, out there.
Oh, that's great. We've only got just a little bit more time, but is there anything, just any glimpses you want to give us of how you got started doing all of this?
Yeah, I got started. Well, I've had these particular leanings and gifts since I was born. I always saw angels. I talk to dead people all the time. Um, but I didn't think it was anything I could control. And so it wasn't until COVID happened that suddenly I
Mm-hmm.
learned, wow, you can take classes in this and do this. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, Spirit set me up for it too. Because normally I do this on YouTube with my
Mm-hmm.
with my friends and on my
Oh,
own
okay.
channel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they set me up for it because I did have a job, and the job asked me to do online summer camp. And of course, I had to learn to be on camera and to do these things and be comfortable with it. Complete setup. They do that to you. They set you up for what they want you to do next. Yeah.
Great. Well, if people want to connect with you and learn more about you on the web, where do they go?
They could go to YouTube and just Google, Terri Suzuki, and it'll probably bring up Kigaru Spiritual Journeys. And from there, they can go to the About button and find my website to book me, or they can just search for my website, kigaruspiritualjourneys.com, and
Great.
book a session with me.
And could you spell Kigaru? I think I know how it's spelled, but let's make sure everybody knows how it's spelled.
Kigaru.
Yeah, so
It's a Japanese word, Kigaru, and
Kigaru. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Or,
Kigaru. Yeah.
mm-hmm. And what
So
does it mean?
Kigaru,
You're saying it's a Japanese name?
lighthearted. Yeah, it's lighthearted. It means so lighthearted spiritual journeys. I do
Mm-hmm.
like to keep it lighthearted, but it's pretty deep.
Mm-hmm.
But what was interesting is later on, I just chose the name because I liked it, and my husband is Japanese, not an American citizen, and he said, "Did you know? Did you know what you were doing when you chose that?" And I'm like, "Probably not." And he said, "Did you know that the key in Kigaru is the same key as in Reiki?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Wow." So that's where the light-hearted, the healing part comes, is from the key. If you notice, I have a key in my name. Suzuki is my last name, but that key means old soldier. It doesn't mean the same.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you so much. I'm excited for more people to experience your work. It's great to have you interviewed here. So for
Yeah,
all of
well,
you,
thank you for having me.
you're so welcome. So for all of you listening and watching, you can find out more about all of our events at mewefairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com. Thanks so much, Terri.
No, you're welcome.